Welcome to the second episode of the Social Pod. Today, we have Ganesh, who is a chartered accountant and the founder of finance consultancy. Hi, Ganesh.
Hi Nasif.
Let's start by introducing yourself. Could you please let us know your background, how you started finance consultancy?
I've started my journey quite long back. In the year 2013, I became a chartered accountant. I've worked with Big Fours, that is Deloitte and KPMG, in the field of audit and forensic investigations. Then I moved to Dubai, worked with a local firm here in the auditing team. Again, that's where I saw that there's a dearth of consultants who actually look out for the business owners. So that's when I thought that I should be starting my own firm, because I saw a gap in the market of trustworthy and reliable consultants who are offering valuable advice to business owners. So from that time, I have kept my mission as to help business owners succeed in the financial domain. Of course, yes, we also do consulting in other parts like sales strategy and into cost optimization and policies and procedures, etc. But primarily my focus has been in the consultancy side.
Okay. When you said you help other businesses,
Yeah.
can you please throw some light? What is your process on in helping other businesses?
So, when you talk about helping businesses, you actually look at the problems that is faced by the business owners, which is quite common nowadays. Like you can look at, many of the business owners complaining about the cash flow issues. You can see business owners complaining about lack of accountability on in terms of the staff that they have. They're not very accountable, and I believe somewhere their own, disregard in terms of looking at things in perspective of the employees also, because there are certain factors which drive even the team that you have. As an owner, you are supposed to be at the forefront of the business and try to manage the entire show by keeping the right people at the right place. But what we have seen, unfortunately, is most of the business owners nowadays have shifted towards having a distance between the business and having their own time versus putting their entire time and effort in the business itself. That is still possible provided they have set procedures, policies defined in the business, and it provides clarity to the team members about the direction that they need to take.
So I want to ask you, like, what is your one big advice when we have that goal setting exercise?
The goal setting exercise, one of the key areas that you will look at is to have a longer time span of the vision, 5 years, 10 years down the line, where do you want to see? And then break it down into smaller chunks of 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. So that is how I would look at it, because you have a top down approach, that is the largest goal that you have, and then break it down into pieces.
And keep milestones as well.
Yes, and keep a track of those milestones.
Okay, which
That
people
is
should achieve.
that is what is quite important, because you need to look at where you are. So most of the times either business owners set those goals and they tend to forget what has been set. They tend to not monitor how the business is heading. So it's important that you track it at every stage. Probably for a business which has yearly budgets, you can have a quarterly target set and review quarterly basis about where you are heading to. So for example, half year down the line, you feel that you're still not on the right path, you can still take corrective measures to ensure that you reach your budget, because it's a step by step exercise that you scale your business. It's not overnight.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So but you have to have a goal, because your energies in the end are tied up with something. So if you focus it on what your goal is, definitely there'll be a better possibility of the output that you give towards your business as an owner.
So, what should be the time where we have to revisit the goal and write it again, and we go back to it and check and update?
The goal setting exercise per se, you have a primary vision about where your company is. So it has to be something which is large enough to accommodate your entire vision.
Yeah.
If suppose, God willing, you have actually gone ahead and achieved that particular milestone, definitely you will look forward for something ahead, right?
Yeah.
So when you see that you are consistently overperforming, that is the time you can actually go back and revisit your budgets, or you can revisit your goals for your business, because then it does make sense to actually go ahead and ask yourself, I've already been achieving this, whatever I have set for myself, is this the right threshold, or I can
Okay.
do something better? So that's where you can see the consistent increase or the consistent performance that you're giving in terms of the business, and you're exceeding the budgets or the goals that you set for yourself. That is when I would say that you can go ahead and revisit it.
Okay.
So probably say 2 years you've consistently exceeded the budgets, then it's time to revisit, or relook into what better can be done in terms of the goal setting exercise.
When you are consulting a startup, do you face any challenge in like them accepting your consultancy or your advices, or have you ever faced something like that?
So in terms of startups, definitely I have seen a varied approach, to be very honest, because every startup founder is unique in that sense. Their approaches are different, but I have seen cases where we have decided on certain strategies about proceeding with regards to their sales strategy, and I've seen that they have tried to modify it in their own terms. I'm not saying that it is good or bad, but the thing is, you should always have a discussion or debate with your consultant on that. The reason being, there might be some pitfalls the business owners might not be able to see
Okay.
in terms of the
Yeah.
financials aspect. So I would definitely recommend that the business owners, in case if they have a good consultant, they have to sit across with them. If they have certain pointers which they feel that this is what I cannot follow, they have to be upfront in putting it across to the consultant, so that they have a common ground on which they can agree to proceed. Otherwise, what will happen is you have appointed the consultant to give you inputs for your growth. But what eventually happens is the consultant gives you some advice and the business owners follows something else, then the entire purpose is defeated. Majorly, what I have seen issues with startups is that they don't have their mission, vision, values defined. So, what I mean by mission, vision statements is that it's providing a direction to your entire company, right? So it is critical for you to start off with your mission and vision statements. There has to be some purpose for your company which you define. With purpose is where you proceed, and you have that motivation in the long run. Otherwise, you tend to forget why you've started. There's
Yeah.
no larger purpose in front of you. When it comes to values, you should have certain values which you stand for as a company, which many of the business owners miss out,
Yeah.
and that has a direct impact on the hiring pattern of the company. One more thing I would like to add on this is, most of the entrepreneurs, if you look at it in the real sense, are alone. What do I mean by that is, you are fighting the struggles alone, you are having issues on all fronts, but you are the one who's handling everything alone. And there are some times where you don't have the other person to share with, who can have that understanding about what you're going through. So having a peer network will definitely add on to even that personal level, where you can share your ideas with your colleagues, or the groups that you are in BNI. And if you're stuck in any issues, definitely there'll be no dearth of ideas coming in, and the support that you receive is immense. So that is also one way to look at it.
Yeah, same question, but I would like to rephrase it in a different way.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt lonely as an entrepreneur, as a business owner?
Of course, yes. I would lie if I said no, because the reason being, role that you have taken up keeps you on your feet, because it's not the same. Your day is not the same every single day.
Yeah.
You have something new coming up and new challenges, and at the same time, you're busy managing other people, right?
Yeah.
So in the end, you don't have the time actually to share stuff with any of your especially your staff, or the colleagues, etc. Generally, you don't have that kind of time left out,
Yeah.
because you're focused on bringing the business, you're focused on managing the people, you're focused on the future of the business, you're focused on the cash flow and the bills that you need to pay. So there are a lot of areas your mind is distributed in.
And there is one question like which some people might not like your answer or my question.
Yeah.
The thing is that there are business coaches,
Yes.
business consultants,
Yeah.
and different forms of people who say, okay, I'm going to help your business to make it better, to make a proper strategy or anything. So, someone like, for example, I'm an entrepreneur, I want to have a proper strategy, take my business to the next level. Whom should I go to?
It all starts with the connection that you have with that person more than anything else. The wavelength that you have established when you met the consultant or the business coach. I'm not saying every business coach is good or bad. I'm saying the personal preferences do matter here,
Okay.
because the way of functioning of every business coach might be different, but the wavelength should match. In terms of what I mean by that is the ideas, the communication, whatever flow is there between the business owner and the consultant, there has to be a a certain level of understanding between both of them. So if that is there, that is the first thing that you look at. Then you will also look at what is the technical expertise. Generally, degrees are one form of looking at what qualifications you have, etc. Is one form of analyzing about what he has done in terms of the education front. But more than that is also the experience and the kind of exposure that consultant has got. So that will help you to look into what diverse experience, or whether this person has handled something in my business domain in the past. Like
Okay.
for example, you are into a service business. So for example, you look for consultants who have already worked with service businesses and have delivered certain results.
Okay.
So I would say past history does matter in terms of the experience. At least if he's a new consultant, but still his history would matter in terms of what exposure he has.
Yeah.
So that will give you an insight about what he has seen, and whether he'll be able to handle what your business throws at him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask like a couple of questions which is more technical and about the regulations, about tax and about corporate tax.
So there are two primary forms of taxes: direct tax and indirect tax. It's the first time UAE has introduced a direct form of tax. We had VAT earlier, which is called as an indirect form. The reason it is called as an indirect form is because the consumer ends up paying. It's not the person directly paying, it's the consumers who pay. In case of companies and the corporate tax, it's a direct form of tax where the company has to directly pay it to the government.
Okay.
Whereas in the other cases, it's the consumer paying it to the government through the different
It's
business
9%,
channels.
right?
Yeah.
On the profit.
So corporate tax is 9% of the profits above 375,000 AED.
Okay.
So whatever profits are above 375, on that you have to pay 9% of corporate tax.
Okay. So people can get in touch with you if they want to register for the
Of course,
corporate
yes.
tax. What is the deadline of that?
See, there are various deadlines issued by. There is a proper deadline chart which I can share with you if you want. It all totally depends on the date of issuance of your license. So, for example, if your license was issued in Jan and Feb, the deadline has already passed.
Okay.
So you need to evaluate the license,
Renewal.
issue date,
Issue date. Okay.
and based on that, we'll need to see what is the deadline applicable to that particular company or person. So
Okay.
corporate tax is relatively simpler, and it is one of the lowest in the entire world in the UAE. That is 9%, whereas there are countries with taxes are equal to 30 to 40% also. So I would say it's a very competitive, initiative, and definitely this has an impact even on the economy, because you see from the other businessman's perspective, they'll think that I need to pay tax, but that tax is going to be used within the economy for giving you more benefits, uh, be it the infrastructure, be it the kind of initiative the government takes. So definitely it's a good move.
Something.
Yep. Nasif, what made you start the podcast journey?
Podcast journey. So I've been produced a lot of podcasts, and particularly one podcast with one of our clients, which was really good. It was very successful, and it was on the niche of sports and fitness. And I was doing this for like I think past 14 months or something. Since then, before that also, I was trying to see how podcast works and everything. But then last time, one of my friend who is also to marketing, he came down. His name is Haris. We decided to start my first episode. I think from there, I realized that rather than waiting for the right moment to happen, just do it. As I said, we are here. Again, we planned for a couple of weeks before, right? Because
Yes.
our schedules we didn't
Yeah.
didn't align. We couldn't do it. But today we are here doing it.
Exactly. So that's a very larger purpose that you've adopted.
We discussed about consulting, goal setting, and everything. How do an entrepreneur try to scale his business?
Primary thing that you need to scale is a product,
Okay.
right? Scalability of the product needs to be evaluated on different parameters. So, for example, as we discussed, you are into digital marketing. In digital marketing, there are a lot many number of clients that you can service, right from the SME or a freelancer to a large corporate, client. So the industry is wide that you can
Yeah.
operate in. And the problem comes when, for example, customization, right?
Yeah.
Every person requires you to customize it in a certain way. That is definitely going to be there. But if you don't define your parameters
Okay.
as to say, I'll do only one revisions, two revisions, three revisions in the creatives that you prepare, for example, you will end up spending more time on smaller clients.
Yeah.
So that will lead you to, lose revenue, because in the service industry, it's not the commodity or the product that you're selling, it's your time that you're selling.
Yeah.
And the cost that goes with that is going for free. So you will not allow anybody, if it's a product based company, would you allow anybody to take your products for free?
No.
That's what most of the consultants or the service business, community tends to do wrong. Like, they have to start valuing the time that they put and the effort that they put into a particular, project, or
Okay.
the service that they provide, the time taken. So when you factor that, you have limited time, correct? So in order to cater to various segments, you have to create products which are tailored to the mass segments. uh, by mass segments, what I would say is, uh, for every kind of customer, you will have some kind of, I would say, a product that you can prepare. For example, you can have, say, for a freelancer, you can have 10 creatives, or create packages for each, category of the business that you have, which you can classify either based on revenue, or either based on the kind of products that they deal in, or the industries that they deal in, because
Okay.
industry wise, even the requirements might change, correct? So you can have some kind of product setup, in short, the packages, and try to focus on giving your best in those packages that you deliver. The reason being, if you don't set your boundaries, then you end up spending time. So once you have these products ready,
Okay.
you have to focus on marketing those products and ensuring that those are getting serviced properly. For that, you need to have the back end, that is the strong people and process. So if that backbone is strong enough, you will be able to scale. And the third thing that you require is, of course, the cash flow,
Yeah.
right? To As soon as the business starts increasing, most of the small business owners make this mistake, that they tend to withdraw the money
Okay.
from the business, which is typically, or I would say, that is the most incorrect thing that you can do during the growing phase. So even, for example, a plant is growing, you will need to water it.
Yeah.
Similarly, it's your business, you have to start giving it first, and then you will get the fruits later.
Yeah.
So you have to have that kind of mindset in order for your business to grow.
Okay.
So if you don't try to focus on, keeping the money within your business, eventually you will not have money to invest in opportunities that your business gets. What I mean by that is, for example, you get a large order, you
Okay.
don't have the cash flow because you've
Yeah.
already withdrawn your salaries, or you've taken a lot of dividend that year for own purpose. So I would say that you have to let money remain and let that multiply within your business by
Okay.
reinvesting in that.
And one last question. You have mentioned about goals, scaling. and regulations and everything? Do you have any advice for them?
The summary of what I spoke has those pointers in them itself. So, to start off with, define your mission and vision and your purpose of your business. Define the value system. The hiring should be based on the value system that you have as a business, and be on top of it. That is very, very critical for every business owner. And have reviews with your teams, with the different unit heads on a regular basis to understand the discrepancies. Have feedback mechanisms set up with your clients to understand what you can do better and grow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also have a business consultant like Ganesh.
Yeah. I'm here to
So I
support.
think
Yeah.
here we comes to the end of the session, and thanks Ganesh for giving such an insightful information. And I hope like people who are watching this get a lot of info, and they can also implement in their business or the startups which they are going to have, or anyone or everyone who wants to learn things, they can have something.
I think thanks a lot, Nasif. I would say that thanks a lot for inviting me over, and looking forward for multiple podcasts in the future in
Hopefully.
certain topics. Let's see how it works
Hopefully.
out. Uh, and I think that would be it from my end.
Thanks everyone for watching the Social Pod. We'll be having more sessions with more information with different people, business owners, thought leaders, or expertise in particular fields. So keep watching and hit that subscribe button. Thank you.